Your long national nightmare is over, Knicks fans. They have a new head coach. I decided to wear the New York hat today because we are celebrating. I guess maybe celebrating is the word. Mike Brown, former Kings head coach. Of course, he coached the Lakers, coached with the Cavs. He's been a head coach at 4 different locations. He was the associate head coach with the Golden State Warriors during their great run. He's won a bunch of titles, but he's never won a title as a head coach. We were hearing for weeks now that it could be Mike Brown. We were hearing maybe Don Staley. We were hearing they wanted to talk to Jason Kidd. They wanted to talk to a bunch of other coaches that were maybe in the mix, but they end up with Mike Brown. And my initial thoughts on this, so I'll give you my full spectrum of emotions, right? I'm 39 and a half years old. I've been a Knicks fan since birth. I was born in New York. I was very fortunate to grow up in the 90s when the Knicks were good and things were going really well for that franchise under Jeff Van Gundy. I was able to watch them go to the Eastern Conference Finals, go to the NBA Finals, obviously fall short of the ultimate goal. I was not alive for the Knicks championship back in the early 70s. But since then, right, since the early 2000s time, it has been a desolate wasteland for New York Knicks fans. Obviously, the gentleman who usually hosts this show, Nick Kostos, I'm sure has detailed this with you many times. I will do my best to try to match his energy. And I remember when the day after Tibbs got fired, and I watched Nick's shows. I listen to you guys a lot. Usually when I'm not hosting, I tend to enjoy listening to this show. And Nick was actually pretty bullish on the firing of Tibbs. He thought that it was a good move because they weren't going to get over the hump with Tom Thibodeau. I can buy that. I totally understand that perspective, that the Knicks have gotten close. They're scratching and clawing their way back from obscurity, making it to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 25 years. But I'll be honest, Tibbs didn't really have a great Eastern Conference Finals. And the Pacers were the better team. And then a few days after that, I forget if it was the next day or very shortly after the Eastern Conference Finals were over, we get word that Tibbs is fired. So that was in May. We're now in July, and it took over a month to finally come to this conclusion that Mike Brown was going to be the head coach. So when I was working my way up through the ranks of broadcasting school, and then I ended up working in, I got an internship at a radio station, and I worked in minor league baseball, and I started working at all these random odd jobs throughout the course of the early stages of my career. I got a lot of advice from a lot of really smart people, but one of the best pieces of advice I ever had was, Jared, don't leave a job unless it's a step up, right? Unless you're able to make a move up the ladder. Don't make lateral moves. You can make as many lateral moves as you want. All you're going to do is uproot your family, uproot your culture, uproot your situation, and you're going to end up in the same place. That's kind of what I feel like the Knicks did here. I feel like this is a very lateral move. I don't want to take anything away from the credentials and the accolades of Mike Brown. He's had a decorated career as a head coach, as an assistant coach. He's coached LeBron, he's coached Kobe, he's coached Steph, he's coached all these fantastic players. But if you look at his history as a head coach, it kind of mirrors what Tibbs's was, which is you have these great pieces, you have these great assets, you get close to maybe the peak, you get close to the summit, and then you fall short. That has been the MO of Mike Brown over the years. You had peak LeBron in the early 2000s, one of the best teams, frankly, of all time. One of the best players, obviously, of all time, in his prime. Maybe the core wasn't good enough around him. You're not able to get over the hump. Then you go to the Lakers. Doesn't work out. Then you go back to the Cavs. You had an issue with the owner. Mike Gilbert, he's crazy, fired you. Okay, fine. Then you go back to all over the map. I think the most recent stop that he had in Sacramento is the reason why I'm confident this is not going to work out for the Knicks. He took over a team in Sacramento in 2022. First year, he led the league in offense. Not a great defensive team. Led the league in offense. Had some great stars on that team. Fantastic players. De'Aaron Fox, among others. Took the Warriors to 7 games. Couldn't get over the hump. Even though you were lighting the beam at home in Game 7. From there, I would say a slow descent into obscurity over the last 2 years with the Sacramento Kings until they fire him midseason this year. What makes you think it's going to go better with, I think, a team maybe not less talented. I would say the Knicks are more talented than the Sacramento Kings. But why do we think this is going to go better than the last several go-arounds with Mike Brown? I don't know the answer to that question. Here's what I do know. He's not an upgrade over Tom Thibodeau. You want to say the Knicks needed to change things up. They needed to, I guess, light their own beam in some capacity. But this is not an upgrade over Tom Thibodeau. This is a lateral move. And it remains to be seen if it's going to work out. I'm not sure it is. We do have Rob Brown with us today. Follow him on X at The Rob Brown Show. Rob, we got the breaking news about an hour ago that Tom Thibodeau's replacement is none other than the Mike Brown. Not our Mike Brown, who's behind the scenes today doing his great work as usual. But Mike Brown, the head coach, who has had many stops, never won a title. Maybe he's come close over the years. Your initial reaction to the Knicks hiring today?
Yeah, I think their first response I had was cool. I mean, it's just that you had no plan, and it felt to me like this was an attempt to just do something. We got experience. Like this is my favorite part, guys, is going to be listening for the next few weeks. Going to be listening to the Knicks apologist. Is going to be listening to the Knicks. Forget the apologist. Let's just listen to them. Trying to sell you that this is a good move. This is the right move. This is a positive move. It's a step in the right direction. It's not. It's very clearly a step backwards. You didn't step over a line. You fell backwards on your own ass, and now you're going to try to justify how it's actually a very good thing and a smart thing that they made. No, it's not. We knew when they let Thibodeau go that it was obvious they didn't have a plan. And then you kind of wanted to at least make a splash to make up for it, right? We didn't even get like a big splash to make up with it. We're just retreading a guy that's been retreaded 4 times already. What are we doing, Knicks? What are we doing?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think, and so I posted this on social right before the show, and I knew it was going to get people that really upset, and I got some really good comments. I said, Mike Brown, not an upgrade over Tibbs. Argue with me all you want. Call me a Dumbo. But he's been a head coach 4 times before. He's been fired 4 times without winning a title. But sure, the 5th time is the charm. The best pushback I got, and listen, I am very much open to debate. I am fine with you bringing back facts and logical pushback to my opinions. I know I'm not God. I'm wrong a lot. But I'll always tell you what I'm thinking, and I'll always give you my straight opinion. The best response I got was from a gentleman named Kevin. Find him on X at SpecialK977, and you're welcome to go to this. I quote tweeted, his response, and I gave my rebuttal. He said, let's take a deeper look. Cavs team, one of the best of the 2000s. Dan Gilbert admitted firing was a mistake. That's fair. Lakers team marred by injury, fired as desperate to win for dying Jerry Buss. Cavs again marred by injury, fired by Gilbert once again, panic. Kings wins coach of the year, bad owner fires him. I think that's the most lucid, logical response that I've got. I mean, I've had like 10, 15 responses to this post. One of them just like straight up called me dumb and idiot and name calling and all that stuff. We ignore that stuff. But this was a good, logical response. Because if you do dive into each head coaching stop Mike Brown has been along the way, you can come up with a logical reason why he was fired from all of those jobs. That is not he's a bad coach. I don't think Mike Brown is a bad coach. He's coached, again, Kobe, LeBron, Steph. He's coached some of the best players in NBA history. No doubt about it. But Tibbs rebuilt the culture from the ground up over the last 5 years. And he got closer to the finals than any other coach had in the last 25 years for the Knicks. Firing him is essentially starting from scratch. New culture, new voice, new everything. You're replacing him with a guy that has had the same career trajectory as Tibbs. Has coached great players, has always fallen short of the ultimate goal. And I don't understand why the Knicks felt this time, the 5th time for Mike Brown, was going to be different. And I responded back to this guy, said, hey, I'll make a bet with you. We'll do it in escrow. Find me a good no price on the Knicks to win a title. You take the yes, and we'll just keep this thing rolling along for, I don't know, what do you think? Over, under how many years, Rob, is Mike Brown going to be the coach of the Knicks? I put the number at 2.5 with juice to the under.
I'm honestly, that's probably a good number. I would say until Jalen Brunson completely rebels and starts openly talking about how disappointed he is with the direction of the franchise. Like whenever that mark is under that, I don't know, man. You've built a team. The team's clearly very good. I know they lost to Indiana, and a lot of people want to point that down as like a reason to be really upset, as if those same Indiana Pacers didn't take the Oklahoma City Thunder, who were favored to win it in what, 5 games or fewer, to 7. And realistically, you could argue that if Halliburton doesn't go down, they win that series. That's the team they lost to. I think people probably but including the Knicks, obviously, I think people probably got a little carried away with the narrative about the loss to the Pacers. Oh, it's the Knicks. They can't do it. There's no chance. They lost. They failed. They this, what I. Man, one team wins a championship every year, guys. One team wins it, and you are one of the final 4, and the team that you lost to, if they don't lose their superstar in the finals, had just as good of a chance to win Game 7 as Oklahoma City did, and we're acting like New York is acting like it's the end of the world. Like that was just the biggest failure of all time, and your response to try to get past that is Mike Brown. And I don't disagree. In a vacuum, all of those individual stops and all of those firings could be looked at and you go, okay, that's maybe not my favorite reason that a coach got let go, but we understand it. Here's the thing. Success at any one of those stops and the reason that he was let go from that stop isn't there anymore, right? Like if he wins a title with the Lakers before the Jerry Buss situation, Jerry Buss ain't fired or getting him canned, or whoever did it on behalf of Jerry Buss isn't canning him before Jerry takes off. Like if he had success at any of those stops, elevated success, he's not fired from any of them. So I get it. I think when you look at all of those stops individually, then it's like, okay, but it's happened over and over and over and over and over again. And it's the same result every time. Like, I don't know. It just feels to me like when a coach was elevating your program every year, like Tibbs was, when he built you a roster that was ready to go, when he built you a culture that was ready to win, and then you end up with Mike Brown, I just, as a whole, there's no rational, logical way that I should go, great job, everybody.
Yeah, the end result is the Knicks are no closer to a title today than they were yesterday. And that's when you hire a head coach, I think that's what you have to do. You have to have the vision that we are closer to winning a championship with this coach than we were yesterday without him.